Finding room for more plants is a common problem for keen gardeners. I like to grow as many species as I can in my garden, but I'm finding as it fills up, I'm having to become more creative to find new spots for plants that are going to work and bring something new to my outdoor space. When looking for spots to squeeze more plants in, an obvious place to start is to target bare patches. There's a glaring gap at the base of this gleditsia, and that's because it's a challenging growing position. Just underneath the soil, there'll be a mass of dense roots that'll compete with anything planted into it. And also, I don't want to dig into the roots for fear of damaging them and impacting the tree. So I'll need to find something that can be grown above the ground and also tolerate the shade in summer and winter light that happens with this deciduous tree, and also something that won't be in competition for water and nutrients. A bromeliad is a clear winner for me. They have a shallow root system, getting most of their water and nutrient needs through their leaves. They thrive in part sun and are tough, low-maintenance plants. I salvaged this Neoregelia hybrid from my grandmother-in-law's garden years ago. It was just a pup back then, and now it's a ripper. I'm starting by just pulling back the mulch to expose the soil below, and you can see just how tightly massed these roots are and how competitive it would be to try and get a plant into that soil. And the reason I'm pulling the mulch back is because I'm going to nestle this plastic ring in there. And this is just a tree well made from recycled plastic. And the idea is it will provide a bit of a frame to mound up soil for the new plant. And that'll just sit in there very neatly. And I'm using an orchid mix. It's made with composted bark and also coir, which has really good drainage and good aeration. It also contains a little bit of controlled release fertiliser. It's perfect for growing bromeliads. Bromeliads can be a little spiky, so wear long sleeves and gloves for protection. After a quick clean-up, it's straight into position. I'm placing the potting mix around the base and packing it in lightly. Then a dressing of pine bark mulch. A watering in will settle everything down. Vertical space is fair game when it comes to finding room for more plants. Things like fences, walls, even tree trunks make the perfect home for some plants like this tillandsia, which I'm going to position right here. There we go. Tillandsias, or air plants, are epiphytes that have evolved to grow without needing any soil at all. They get their moisture and their nutrients from the air and from the surface that they're growing against, in this case, the bark of the tree. They come from Mexico and Central America, so they're very hardy. And they do need good amounts of light as well as good ventilation. I'm using a plastic-coated wire to secure the stems to the fork of the tree. As the plant grows, it'll cover the wire and fix itself to the tree using its own roots. And I'll be sure to loosen the wire so the tree doesn't get damaged. Tillandsias are super low maintenance. All they need is a bit of a misting with water a couple of times a week during dry weather, and then a liquid fertiliser also as a misting a few times a year. Now, they're slow growing, but how cool are they? I've spotted another opportunity to make the most of, the top of this wall. It's a perfect spot for a pot. In this case, it's an old watering can that'll sit on top and I'll fill it with plants. And what I've chosen is Dichondra Silver Falls. It's a quick-growing ground cover, but also does really well in containers or hanging baskets where it spills over. And I've selected this because of the silver foliage, which will look lovely against the red brick wall. I'm drilling 5 drainage holes in the base, using a 10mm drill bit. Silver Falls needs good drainage, so I'm adding some expanded clay balls to the bottom. Then good quality potting mix. The plants are gently nestled into place so they peek out from the top of the watering can. Doesn't that look cute? Dichondra will take both full sun and part shade, but I find here in Perth it does best with morning sun and afternoon shade, which is what it will get in this spot. Well, there we go, there's that gap filled. One more to go. This screen is crying out for something. It's the perfect spot for a focal point, like this mounted elkhorn. I've had this growing in a quiet spot in my garden, just to one side out of the way, but now that it's established, it's the perfect time to bring it out and put it on show. The other reason this spot's good for an elkhorn is that although it faces west, it's going to be shaded in summer by this deciduous tree, because the elkhorns and staghorns can get a bit sun-bleached in full sun. Elkhorns and staghorns are epiphytic ferns that in the wild grow on trees. You can buy them pre-mounted, but if you head to the Gardening Australia website and search how to mount an elkhorn, you can see my demonstration from a previous story. In my mind, there's no such thing as too many plants in a garden. There are literally opportunities everywhere. You just need to think outside the box.